Today we're going to look at a vintage rack unit. We're going to demystify this one. You know the channel, you know that we look at a lot of underrated vintage gems, and there's a good reason a lot of these are underrated. Like the PS2, like we really brought that to the forefront of people's minds. That's a great piece of gear, underrated, man. But for this one, I think this one's overhyped. It's the fx500. Talk about that, look deep into it as we do.
So the Yamaha fx500 is a vintage rack unit. Shoegazers were using rack units in the early days, and it makes sense why. So as shoegaze was still emerging as a genre, digital guitar pedals were still in their infancy, with the first digital reverb pedal not even hitting the market until 1987. According to Boss, they said the RV2 was the first digital reverb pedal.
There was a few others.
With the unique use of guitar effects being one of the significant attributes of shoegaze, you can see why these guitarists were wanting multi-effects units.
Yeah, and we've got first-hand account from our friend Scott Cortez of Love Size Crush and Astro Bright / Astro Bright, I should say. And yeah, he says like rack units is not the thing, man. Like we always say here on the channel, they're not portable. So like, especially nowadays when he's playing live, he doesn't want to be using that. He wants to be using good old dreamgazer. For real, man. It's just so much more portable than these bulky rack units. They don't fit on a pedal board. They're hard to switch on and off. You need to get like a separate foot switch. They're just not set up really that great for live use. Let's begin demystifying the fx500 effects unit. The fx500 was released in 1989.
What else happened in 1989?
Slowdive were formed, the greatest band ever, and it was released as an affordable effects unit for guitarists and bassists. There's also a bass version which is pretty similar to this one. You
accidentally bought one time.
Yeah, we don't have to say that. Yeah, I accidentally bought it because I didn't see the B in the list. Compared to like all the other rack units we've had, I mean, we have some rack units that are like $50, $60, $70, which we'll get on the channel eventually, I guess. But like, yeah, the build quality is just not very good. It's like got this nasty like plasticky feel to it. And also our fx500 broke like a few years ago, and so we never did a video on it, and we recently got it fixed. So I'm going to save you a lot of trouble. We're always like just straightforward on this channel. In our opinion, the fx500 is hugely overrated, so I wouldn't even bother picking one up, like just to pick it up for the soft focus patch, maybe for a bit of fun, but then like it's not really worth keeping around. If you're spending like, these are going for like $300, $400 now, which is just crazy. Like there's like so much better reverbs and even modulation options and delay options.
I mean, as far as anyone could tell, Slowdive doesn't use it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, they were using it back in the day because it was just convenient. In fact, Simon Scott actually uses a dreamgazer for his modulation and reverb options. When it comes to the soft focus patch, for example, one of the reasons that patch got so hyped up is because people are associated strongly with Slowdive, and obviously Slowdive is the greatest band in the world. So what if they use something, people's going to be loving it. But actually, that like the only people that really know what they used was the band themselves. And you know, I've seen them say that they actually used their own presets, which were loosely based on the soft focus patch. So they actually made their own custom patches, with which you can do with the fx500.
Not to mention Slowdive would sound like Slowdive with anything.
And that's a big part of what we do with Pedal Partners, is putting out factually correct information. There's so much misinformation when it comes to gear online. As someone who's done 2 dissertations on effects pedals and shoegaze, a big part of what I do is I love my research, you know, my primary research, my secondary research, my Harvard referencing. In fact, we were just looking at all of my dissertations last night. That's just a big part of that makes up me, is I'm a very detail focused person. So we like getting, you know, correct information out there and helping dispel, you know, myths when it comes to gear. The fx500 has 5 modules available: compression, distortion, EQ, modulation, and reverb. It was billed as a kind of multi-effect, or as the fancy pants that 80s Yamaha were calling it, simul effect or simultaneous effects. The reverb module encompasses both reverb and delay. After all, digital reverb is essentially made up of multiple delay lines, so it makes sense to put them in together. There are 4 time-based groups, with each group hosting a variety of reverb and delay sounds. The reverb group includes hall, room, vocal, and plate reverbs. The early reflection group features hall, random, reverse, and plate. These effects are created using different groupings of early reflections. The first cluster of reflections that occur after the direct sound, but before the dense reflections of reverberation begin. The delay group allows you to place delay independently between the left and right channels. The standard delay offers between 0.1 to 740 milliseconds of delay in each channel. The echo delay differs slightly to the standard delay, with different internal settings to the standard delay, with delay ranges of 0.1 to 370 milliseconds. The reverb and delay group offers the user separate reverb and delay processors, which can be set to parallel on series. The series setting offers 2 modes: delay into reverb and reverb into delay. The fx500 is 16-bit with a sampling rate of 44.1 kHz. There are 60 presets and 30 user patches. There are 4 types of modulation: flange, tremolo, chords, and symphonic. Each has variable oscillator speed, depth, and mix, as well as dedicated parameters per modulation type. Most interesting of the modulations is symphonic, which adds width and dimension to your sound. Setting the phase in the plus or minuses results in the stereo image moving left and right when using the stereo out.